What major scientific breakthrough is actually closer to happening than most people think? Case 1, Parkinson's disease. They just published results from taking stem cells, turning them into neurons and injecting them. They used a small amount just to see if the neurons would survive, and not only did they survive, but some patients stopped getting worse and some even had reduced tremors. The results are promising enough to believe it could end up being a cure. I'd love to have Michael J. Fox back. I'd love to have my mom back. Parkinson's is awful, an inevitable deterioration you actively experience. Case 2, regenerative dentistry. I had a gum graft last year and they had to take tissue from my palate for one tooth, but for the others they used this product called Kerecis, derived from Atlantic cod skin. Now I'm part fish woman, but the product helps recruit my own gum cells and turn them into living tissue over time. They discovered this in Japan over a decade ago. It's been stuck in clinical trials since then. I'd love to find out I'm wrong and that it's already on the market somewhere. Case 3. I hope it's an artificial pancreas. Type 1 diabetes is pretty bad. One of my friends is a researcher working specifically on curing pancreatic diseases. She's really smart and believes it can be cured. I hope for everyone's sake she figures it out. Curing type 1 diabetes? That's what I was going to say. Specifically, RNA medicine has the potential to cure many lifelong conditions and diseases. This is driven by government-funded research at our world-class academic institutions. Wait, no. It's a real shame what the US government is doing with federal research funding right now. Those cuts will definitely hurt RNA research and the medical breakthroughs that come with it. But if it makes you feel better, pretty much every other country doing RNA medical research is doubling down on their efforts, so new discoveries will continue, just probably not in the US. They'll also take American scientists while ramping up their own efforts. Researchers go where they're wanted. This country is so done. Case 4. Friend, I just want to know why I have endometriosis. I can't tell you that, but they did a study to see if women with endometriosis were more attractive than those without it. I'm not kidding. My God, it's true. It's insane that barely any studies are done to cure or help with a painful, debilitating disease, but they can do studies to see if doctors perceive women with the disease as more or less attractive. What kind of life is this? Case 5. Astronomer here. Here's something amazing. We might have a new planet in our solar system, a legitimate planet over 4 times the mass of Earth, by the end of the year. Have you heard of Planet 9, the hypothetical planet beyond Pluto? Finding it is really hard because it's far beyond all the other planets and very faint, but last week I attended a talk by Mike Brown, the astronomer who proposed it, and also killed Pluto. In October, the Rubin Observatory is supposed to start operations, taking images of the entire sky every night with an 8-meter telescope. According to Mike, if it starts on time, we should find Planet 9 by mid-December. The start date might slip a bit, but how cool is that? Plot twist. It's just Pluto bulking up and out for revenge. I don't get how we can identify objects hundreds of light years away but aren't sure if there's a 9th planet in our solar system. Planet 9 is dark. The things we observe are bright or dark but passing in front of bright things. The objects we detect far away are usually stars, which are huge and very bright, or galaxies, which are even farther but ridiculously huge and bright. Black holes are the opposite of bright but have a massive gravitational effect on everything around them, so we can predict their position. Or exoplanets, which we only find by chance, like when they pass in front of a star and dim it. A planet in our solar system might be big compared to Earth, but it's tiny compared to a star, reflects a tiny amount of sunlight, and is incredibly faint. For example, try finding Neptune in the night sky. Spoiler, without a good telescope you can't. The only way we find a planet in our solar system is by studying discrepancies in gravitational effects, which are complicated by the Sun overwhelming all other gravitational effects, and then Jupiter overshadowing everything else. Case 6. I was hoping someone would mention a cure for Alzheimer's. If caught early, there's a drug about to be approved in Europe that basically stops Alzheimer's in its tracks. It's a small molecule with very few side effects, called blarcamesine. There are going to be some very, very rich investors. Related question. Is there any progress on detecting it before symptoms appear? I recall brain loss happens long before symptoms show up. Essentially, as an Alzheimer's patient has early brain loss, other parts of the brain overwork to compensate, suppressing symptoms externally. Once symptoms appear, there's been massive, irreversible brain loss, and the disease will likely run its typical course, even with pharmacological intervention. Case 7. Biotechnology-based aging reversal. Scientists are already reprogramming cells to act younger, and early animal tests show promising results. It's not full immortality, but delaying or even reversing aging at the cellular level is much closer than most people think. Maybe decades, not centuries. Great, we'll have billionaires living to 200. The only comfort I have left in this world is knowing they'll die soon, and they're going to take that away from me too. Case 8. Spinal cord repair using regenerative stem cell therapies and brain-spinal cord interfaces that bypass damaged or diseased sections to restore full body function. Case 9. Detection of primitive alien life. Recently, a potential biomarker signal was detected on an exoplanet. It's very preliminary, but it could be the first sign of alien life. Even if this signal turns out to be false, there's a high chance we'll detect something on another exoplanet with current or next-generation telescopes. I think it's crazy that some people believe there's no life out there. With all the countless random rocks orbiting the infinite billions of stars out there, at least one has to have life, even if it's just some kind of bacteria. Case 10. A new treatment for kidney disease in cats. Kidney disease is a common cause of death in cats. A protein called AIM is being studied in Japan. AIM is getting closer to practical use and will help cats live longer. Case 11. How long do I have to wait for the biggest, most useful breakthrough of all? Not having to wait at a red light when I'm the only car at the intersection because the light will automatically turn green? I work in the AI field. It's moving so fast and being implemented across all industries at an unstoppable pace. We may not feel it yet, but we will very soon. In 5 years, I can't even imagine what things will look like. Very recently, using AI for homework was considered cheating and dishonest. Now, my professors in both my data analysis and Python classes insist we use Gemini, Copilot, or ChatGPT to help with everything so we know how to apply it in the workforce. None of these responses make me feel good about the future. Powerful technology is only a good thing in the hands of a responsible civilization, which we definitely are not. Case 12. Nuclear fusion. Not quite as close as people think, but a massive breakthrough that will literally change nearly every aspect of human civilization once it happens, and it's a matter of when, not if. Case 13. A new vaccine for HIV is in phase 3 trials, so it's still a bit away but definitely closer than most people realize. Case 14. They've developed tattoo ink that can determine how high or low your blood sugar is by the color it turns. There are also 2 other types of tattoo inks for monitoring diseases in the body, but the blood sugar one excited me most. While it can't give you an exact glucose count, it'll still be hugely helpful for diabetics everywhere who face a lifelong struggle with this disease. It's currently in the testing phase. For many without severe symptoms tied to high or low blood sugar, it could replace lifelong glucose monitoring devices. Case 15. I'm currently working on the perfect margarita, and I think I've nailed it. Finally, a scientist working on something useful. Case 16. Quantum computing revolution. I was talking to a scientist who told me quantum computing would revolutionize computing in the next few years. That was 25 years ago. All the big tech companies are pretty keen on messing with our brains like Neuralink, etc. I think procedures where we can get chips to become half robot, half human will happen scarily soon. It's concerning that some people are so welcoming of AI doing everything for them that they'd happily swap their brains for such a thing. I don't even know what to call these people who refuse to do basic life tasks. We need a new term because lazy certainly isn't enough for someone who refuses to think. Case 17. What about a cure for baldness? When I finished chemo, my hormones were all out of whack and I had no testosterone for a couple of weeks. Guess what? My bald spot grew back and I had a full head of hair. Then it all fell out when my testosterone returned. So there you go, just remove all the testosterone from your body and you'll have a lush head of hair. Case 18. Talking to animals, especially whales and dolphins. I literally can't wait for this to become reality. Look at recent efforts to use LLMs to train on dolphin speech data. It might not lead to anything major, but I also think we might discover they actually have history and culture and communicate in ways we can understand and relate to. Imagine if we could read scientific reports where a certain group of dolphins talks about a story they passed down through generations about humans and how they interact with them, or whatever else is going on with them. I hope that would change how we view marine mammals. Case 19. Why hasn't anyone mentioned something to fix the environment? Something for clean water, clean air? What am I missing or not aware of? Unfortunately, there's no money in it. Case 20. Scientists at Michigan State University and Stanford developed a nanoparticle that eats away from the inside out at plaques causing heart attacks, 5 years ago. I haven't seen an update since. Case 21. How about celiac disease? All I want is a Cinnabon, a 5-layer beef burrito, and a cheesy quesadilla with extra jalapeno cheese sauce. I've told my husband that if I'm going to die anyway, they better make sure the last thing I taste is a Cinnabon. I don't care if I'm on life support, in a coma, whatever, they better be shoving it in my mouth. I want to taste it before I go. That said, if I ever get terminally ill, I'll tell the doctors to drug me up, and I'll eat all the gluten-filled food I've missed. If I'm going out, I might as well eat well.